Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very last episode of Feedback. Dramatic pause. Cue show open. Okay, everybody, I'm sure you just watched that 4 seconds of depression that I had right before that opening. This is the very last episode of Feedback in its current form. We will be coming back later on with a new version of the show, but we are trying to evolve as the network is evolving. But I wanted to have on my three favorite guests that I've ever had during my entire tenure as the host of this show. Nicole is with us
Thanks for
today.
having me on.
Hello, Nicole. Hello. Come on. Steve Johnson, I'm just glad that you're still alive.
Yeah.
You did it, man.
I made it. Still living.
Take that, Death. You're still
right
here.
in your face. Still living. Yeah.
I wouldn't taunt Death.
Yeah, don't. I'm
that's
not
true.
taunting
On his
Death.
behalf, though.
And we decided because we needed to have at some point some sort of information in this show, Jake should be a part of it as well.
That is a damn lie.
He is always the educational foundation, I think, of this show. But guys, thank you so much for being here. We've had a lot of really good times on the show. But we're not going to look back on the things that we did. We're going to look forward to the future. And again, the show's not going away. We're just changing it. We're going to have a new logo. I'm sure Steve will put on some spandex and we'll do a new theme song.
Hopefully.
I don't even care if we do another show or not. I'll pay you to
Wear
just put on
spandex?
spandex and sing for me
I
in
might
the
need a
immediate
job soon,
future.
so awesome.
But I did want to look back a little bit before we get into the very last discussion we'll have on this show. I wanted to look back on Comic-Con, which was obviously last week. We did a bunch of live episodes, which I absolutely loved. I thought they went really well. Thank you guys for sending your questions in and for supporting the live stream because that is not cheap. So we really appreciate you guys doing that for us. But your favorite thing at Comic-Con, really, really fun times. There's a lot of stuff to see. I didn't get to see as much as you guys did. Nicole, you actually covered a lot of panels, so you got to
Yeah.
see a little bit more of what Comic-Con had to
I
offer.
covered a lot of panels. My favorite being the Fortnite panel. Not because I'm biased, because I love Jessica. Mm-hmm. A lot.
Yes.
But also because I'm really excited for Fortnite, and they really surprised me announcing that it would be the first game to use Unreal Engine 4, which I'm just excited to see what it can do. And then it's going to be a PC exclusive, which is just something that you always hear people misquoting people from Epic saying things about PC gaming, and so it's nice to see that they're kind of going to cater to that audience and make a game that's so Team Fortress meets Minecraft. It's just so obviously those two things, and I'm just super stoked for it.
Right, and a lot of people were surprised that because people talked about Fortnite up to that point, but nobody had actually seen what they were going to show off.
Yeah.
Were you surprised at all that this is the game they were going to use to showcase Unreal Engine 4?
I mean, yes, but at the same time, it makes perfect sense to kind of come out first with this kind of cartoony style look. So when they are ready to launch probably a next-gen title with the Unreal Engine 4, we'll be super surprised because
Right.
we'll have that next-gen tech. So this is a good first kind of ushering in of the engine. And the graphics are kind of cartoony. I don't think they've released the gameplay to the public yet. It was kind of just for the audience because the game is not near completion. But it's definitely an interesting look, and it doesn't look like it's Unreal Engine 4, so I'm excited to see how the gameplay mechanics come into play.
Right. And Jake, were you surprised at all that Epic's, I guess, return to PC only is in this type of game and not a first-person shooter? Because obviously Unreal is pretty much what built. I mean, we're talking Unreal Engine 4, but their company as a whole really, I mean, started with Unreal. Are you surprised that they would have this kind of game be their return to PC gaming?
I mean, like you're saying, it's a good showcase for the engine. It's also something that they can basically release a lot faster. Like, I mean, they've been working on it for a while, but it's something that like they'd have to wait at least until the next console cycle to release the big kind of next, whatever their next game is with this like Unreal Engine 4 behind it. So it sort of makes sense that it's something that they could iterate on pretty quickly, which I think is what they were saying too. Cliff was on the show and was talking about that this gives them all this freedom to basically just be building constantly.
Yeah.
So now they're all the developers are working constantly and they're able to iterate a lot faster. And he also was mentioning that the Unreal, like that would be, will they eventually get back to that Unreal? And they don't know. They have to have another team, and they have people can fly now, but it's not really in the cards. So you can see them looking forward, but this is also a very good sort of middle ground between now and the next gen.
Right. I don't want to take away from the team that's making Fortnite because everything that I've seen, what they showed at the panel, obviously Jessica hosted it, so I was privy to a lot of the stuff that they didn't even show yet. The game's going to be awesome. That said, it is pretty much the best like kind of sales tech demonstration I have ever seen in my entire life because a lot of what they focused on at the panel was, look, this is what's cool about it. If you're buying our engine to make games, the day and night cycle, you don't have to develop everything. It just does it for you, so you can focus on the core mechanics of the game. And I think it's like one of the smartest business moves of all time to have something like this. Don't you think, Steve?
Completely.
Well, because they have
Thank
the
you,
inventory.
Steve. That was awesome.
There it is.
They have
Done.
the inventory
Period.
system
That's
they're
it.
showing off.
Yep.
They're showing off combat. They're showing off the day and night cycle. I mean, there's enemy AI. They're capable of showing off everything the engine can do without focusing on
Well, there's
graphics.
like and the destruction and the building
Yeah.
and the, all that stuff is.
They described it as like you can nest. Like who has nesting in their sales pitch? But I'm like, I want to play
I want to nest.
Nesting.
Yeah.
All right.
because you got to build the fort. You got to keep fortify the fort. That's a thing.
That's all
Sure.
right.
Yeah, but
And-
It's part of the word.
It would
And
make me so sad when somebody
Stop
came
the
and wrecked
fort,
my fort.
defend the fort, killed people with baddies trying to get the fort, probably upgrade your fort. I mean,
That's a lot of forts.
it's a lot of forts.
A lot of forwarding.
Fortnite.
Yeah, appropriate.
Steve, you said 2 words so far.
Yes,
And
Fortnite.
neither one of them have helped
No.
the
One of
One of
conversation.
them was
I
yes,
haven't.
the other was completely.
What did you see though that you really liked?
I saw Assassin's Creed 3's Wolfpack mode, which is sort of Assassin's Creed 3's answer to Horde mode. And you and 3 other players up to basically have to complete assassinations with time limits. And you are given more time and more points for stylish and synchronized kills. So it's like a sort of a switch on the regular Horde mode, and it's really fun.
Stylized like Bulletstorm, where you got rewarded for like eccentric, violent kills.
Well, but in the more Assassin's Creed
Seven.
style.
It's more like
This way?
time too. It's
Right,
like
it's
if you
time.
both attack at the same time.
You both
sort of
attack at
thing.
the same time, but if you both attack from the shadows
Synchronized.
instead
Right.
of just like running up behind somebody, if you both attack from a crowd, if you attack from a roof and do a cool assassination, and it grants you points and time based on the variety and style of the kills that you do, which is really, really fun and so uniquely Assassin's Creed that it's going to be awesome, I think. Like,
And do
that's
they
gonna be a
have
lot of
do they
fun.
have assassinations that were? Did they specify like these are multiplayer only assassinations as opposed to the stuff in the game?
You know, I'm actually not sure. I don't know.
Okay.
I from having played it, I don't think so, but I could be wrong. So I don't want to go on record as saying that.
All right.
It'll probably depend on
I
like
like the
weapons
idea,
you
though.
unlock and stuff
Sure.
like that.
Yeah, and the game just looks so beautiful.
Yeah, I can't
Oh my
wait,
God.
man. I mean, I think it's safe to say it's probably most people's most anticipated game of this year.
After Borderlands 2.
After Borderlands 2.
Hey,
We'll get
What
into
is
that.
it?
We'll get into that in a second. Jake, what'd you see there?
I saw The Office because I was
Oh,
here.
you're running back into
Jake,
things.
get to
great.
go.
Congratulations, by the way. You do sound healthier than the three of
I know.
us.
Yeah.
I liked it. you
I
know?
saw a cold. Clearly,
That was
Nerd
great.
flu.
It was I mean, we had tons of content, but I mean, reading all of the coverage and stuff, I think the Assassins, the Boston kind of walkthrough gameplay thing was just blew my mind. But Steve also saw Elysium, which
Oh my God,
sounds
Elysium.
The
insane.
Matt Damon movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Blomkamp.
So it's like
Yeah.
it's
District
like
9 guy?
District
District
9
9
meets
guy.
Wall-E, I think is
Really?
essentially what it is.
It's
like
yeah,
Earth
The
is just
most aggressively
trash.
depressing.
yeah.
essentially.
It's
yeah.
unbelievable. It's so cool. Like all the rich people in the world build this huge satellite and they go up into space and they orbit the planet and everything is awesome on their satellite. Like there's no disease, everybody's happy, it's great. But then everybody on Earth just sucks every
just
day.
every
Like,
day,
everything
like-
is terrible. Like, yeah, all day long you just watch the satellite go over. It's so rad. So it is like District 9, Wall-E, and Metropolis all put together
Yeah,
into
kinda thrown
one movie.
together.
That sounds
So
pretty
it's
amazing.
gonna
It
be
sounds
rad.
totally insane.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, I've made a lot of stink over the last couple years about Comic-Con being less about comic books and more about movies and stuff. But I heard the Warner Brothers, I didn't get a chance to go to it, but the Warner Brothers theatrical panel, the Godzilla stuff they showed off, apparently Pacific Rim, the Del Toro stuff looked amazing. The Man of Steel footage, which is now leaked online. Like, apparently Warner Brothers had like a hell of a theatrical panel. I wish I could have been a part of that. We actually had, this is how incredibly ridiculous they were about letting people in. Damon Lindelof. Is that how you say his last name? We all know who I'm talking about, though, right? The dude who basically created Lost, and Lost was basically the panel all those years ago that started this whole ball rolling, couldn't get into the Warner Brothers panel and asked he's friends with one of our executives and was like, hey, do you know anybody that could get me into this thing? And we're like, they're being that ridiculous about it. Like, that's how crazy the
Wow.
Warner Brothers theatrical panel was.
Get in line, get out your checkbook,
They're probably
and
just
say
upset about
name
the
your
ending.
price.
Probably.
Yeah, right. And then Prometheus, like, it's just like, Damon, 7
Sorry,
years
buddy.
ago, bro, you would have been at the front of the line, but unfortunately,
Season 3 of Lost. That's all. Sorry.
That was my favorite. The floor report when he was like, because they're like, "Oh, Lost is going to be on G4," and he tips for people who are just starting. He's like, No, but just you could basically take a sandwich around season 3 and then come back. I was like, nice.
But that was the season
Nice.
where they didn't know how long they were supposed to go, right? So they're like, Fox
The
or
trend
did Aaron
was,
Fox? It was Fox,
ABC.
right?
Yeah.
ABC. Yeah, they're like, yeah, you might have 100 more episodes or 12. We haven't decided yet. And they're like, well, I guess we should just leave some blanks in the plot right here.
We should never fill those in, though.
Yeah,
No,
that's
good.
true. That's true, Nicole.
I know,
Let it go
man.
though. You're young.
But
Don't be spoiled
it's
yet.
on G4 again, and so I'm starting to
So you're
watch again.
reliving it?
And I'm like, no, don't. You know what happens. And then I'm like, oh, what happens? Maybe this time. No.
It's not going
much
to be
hope.
different this time.
That said, kids, you should watch our Lost coverage
Should.
on G4. But I love that we're airing in 4-hour blocks. That makes sense. Like we used to air it in the past, it was 1 hour at a time. You can't watch Lost 1 hour at a
It's
time.
true.
And so the fact that we're airing 4-hour blocks is pretty smart.
And you
I
got to
think.
watch those first 2 seasons. They're so great.
Oh, they really
They're
are.
so like the best things.
Yeah.
The best things.
But you know,
best-
you
the
know
best
what
of all
else is going to be
things.
on
Best of all
G4?
things.
A
Confirmed.
Batman marathon. Aside
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
But like, I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Did you guys see Batman over the weekend?
Yes.
What did we all
I
think?
did not.
You didn't see it?
No,
Oh,
I'm waiting,
Steve,
so we can't
come
talk
on.
about it. Spoilers.
Dude.
No, we can talk about
it
it, but
was
I'll be
so
spoiled.
good.
It's ads.
Really good, right?
I
Can we
liked
all
it
agree
more.
though? Better than Begins, but not as good as The Dark Knight.
I like it more than the Dark
No
Knight.
way.
Yeah,
What?
because I got the
That's okay, dude. Don't worry about it.
I got the end that I wanted.
Okay, that's cool. I
Unlike
guess.
Mass Effect,
Unlike-
where you
no, I
did
had-
not get the
I
ending
had
you wanted.
emotional flashbacks to Mass Effect 3 at certain
All right.
points. We'll get another time.
I'm gonna
Well, not
disagree
another
with
time.
you in a very vague
No,
way
no
because
other
I don't want to
time.
spoil anything for Steve. But I mean, come on, The Dark Knight was pretty much a perfect movie. And Ledger, I mean, Tom Hardy is great as Bane. Heath Ledger was so ridiculous. Anyway, though, Steve, since you haven't seen it, we
Yes.
won't talk about that
No,
anymore. My favorite 2 things at Comic-Con, number 1, the feedbacks we did.
Yes.
In case we do those in the future, I really liked that a lot. I thought those were great. And then also, I saw, I was up on stage doing the hour-long episode of X-Play, and there was a really large, busty Power Girl down at the bottom of the stage, and she's like, yeah, I'm on TV, screaming, whatever. And I was like, oh, look at that Power Girl. Power Girl, if you're not familiar with the character, has a giant cutout right here in her costume so you can see her boobs. And this large girl's right boob, she was gesticulating wildly, and her boob, like, kind of fell out, but not all the way, but, like, definitely... Like, if you were, like, an 8-year-old, you'd be
Right.
like, that's enough nipple for me! Right?
Right,
Or a
sure.
32-year-old, you still get excited about it. But anyway, her boob basically fell out of her costume, and that was the best that I've ever seen
that was the
at
best thing in
Comic-Con.
Comic-Con.
And
That was
she
the moment.
noticed it immediately and was like, Dad, don't care. I can't. Okay, we're cool. But, like, there was a good 8 seconds where she was like, I don't give a shit what's going on right now.
Wow.
And that was a good moment for me.
You know what I noticed about Comic-Con, and this is like a serious thing, that I went to a lot of panels, and they always do a Q&A with the crowd. And a lot of the people in the crowd are very nervous and very excited, and maybe have like speech impediments and things like that. And I'm not trying to make a joke. And it always amazed me that even though there'd be 6,000-7,000 people in a crowd, and somebody would be having a speech impediment or being overly excited, that there would be no reaction of laughter or mocking toward those people. And I thought, wow, that's really amazing. I can't think of another crowd that would be so accepting of so many different kinds of people. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Right.
You especially since their questions always suck.
I know their questions are
Yeah,
terrible.
You just
yeah.
wasted everyone's time.
You're lucky I love you.
Mine is
That was
the
awful.
my like least favorite is the guy that gets up there and it's like his job audition and he's like, well, in season 2, you had that dangling plot thread at episode 3.6, which was the social media episode that you re-aired later on, and I thought if I were writing this, that what I would have done, and it's like 10 minutes of him explaining the they did wrong, and everybody's like, but you're not up there, and you didn't work on the show, so shut the
And that's not a question.
Yeah,
So-
I think actually I was at a panel. The first season of Chuck, they showed like the premiere of Chuck at Comic-Con, and I was at that panel, and this guy got up and said he basically just took apart the episode, and at some point, whoever the creator of Chuck is was literally just like, I guess it's good that you're not working on this show. And also that you wasted 8 minutes of these people's time. And everybody started booing the guy. So the converse of that is that sometimes people can be
that's
dicks.
it.
You're right.
Don't ask the wrong question.
Yeah, well, sure.
You know, stutter all you want, as long as the question's good.
Someone asked at the Laura Croft panel, and it was very awkward. He came up and said how nervous he was, and he kind of sniffled a little bit, and then he asked if there could be
What's up with the rape?
No, he asked if there could be a love scene at the end of Laura Croft because it would really help characters connect with the character, and he he just wouldn't let it go. And that's a situation where the audience was just kind of like making that face that Jake's making.
Yeah.
It was that for like a good 7 minutes.
Wow.
That was a highlight
Was
for
he
me.
touched? Was he
Oh,
like,
that's
you
pretty
know,
good.
I think at the end of the game, it was
You know,
he
he
like
wasn't.
squeezing himself?
I just don't think that was happening.
Okay.
No.
But you could imagine.
Yeah, no. He
such
was,
a
I-
scenario,
he was
yeah.
going into detail.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Let's reenact a little bit
Let's
of that right
not,
now.
though.
Maybe
I
you could
just
write it
gave
down and
you-
Steve could read it in adult, like a sultry voice. With that, I'm ready for it now. If you want to do.
I went into a panel by accident because I was in the wrong room, and it turned out to be a panel about action figures. And I was amazed. There were like 500 to 1,000 people in this ballroom that wanted to talk about action figures in great detail. And I was just like, wow, there's this whole thing that they know about that I have no concept about. Like they were talking about different points of articulation from different years.
That's
and
literally
different
the only
toy
thing I know
lines.
about action figures is and Kung
That's
Fu
it.
Grip. Kung Fu Grip and points of articulation.
What more do you need?
What else was there? Like, what else were
Apparently,
they
in the
focusing
action
on?
figure community, you want more points of articulation.
Sure.
So there's a
Well,
constant balance.
of course.
So
Well, we all
this
do.
one man was very excited about articulated toes. That's what he wanted. Like, and he made it very clear.
Was it the same guy that asked if there'd be a love scene at the end?
It could have been the
That's
same
some
guy.
Pretty
And
specific
then another
questions
guy was
right
like,
there.
"Well, how come you don't make bigger action figures?" And the people on the panel were like, "I don't." It was like
Rocking the foundation.
Because
you know, like 30
if it's
inches
1 to
big.
1 and it has a lot of points of articulation, that's just a real friend. And those already exist and they're free. So,
Maybe if you
but a
break
friend
it
you can
down,
buy.
that's what they
So-
actually wanted.
That's what
And
you
a
want.
friend who's Spider-Man. I mean,
Right.
come on.
But I think that's what's great about Comic-Con again.
Yeah.
I think it's less about what's there and more about the celebrities that are there pandering to people. Like I feel like Comic-Con is to like washed up actors and actresses like country music is to washed up singers in the pop and rock genre. Didn't make it here. Let's go to the country artists. Guys, I've always loved country. I've watched Star Wars my whole life, so I'm like you. See, I think that's what. So I hate the pandering, but I love
Yeah.
that anything that you're into, it's at Comic-Con, like an action figure panel or a creepy Lara Croft fan fiction. You know,
Can I
or-
sum up most of the bigger panels?
Yes.
The director was very, very respectful and loved the source material. And the actors and actresses had so much fun making it.
Yeah.
That's actually next year's coverage. We just
Yeah, exactly.
We just
That's
covered all the panels.
Comic-Con 2013.
Done.
But again, I like the smaller stuff where it's people that are really passionate about the thing, and the people on stage are really passionate because they made whatever that thing is, and you know.
Yeah.
So the bigger panels get a little marketing vibe to them,
Sure.
a little too much. Which
Well,
how are you
when,
going to
when
avoid?
Robert Downey Jr. walks out with an Iron Man glove on, it's really more
That's-
about the marketing and less about
yeah.
You know.
But what are you going to do? I mean, you know, that's what the thing's
You're
for.
gonna wait in line and then you're gonna cover it.
Yeah.
You're gonna-
which I would have done if I wasn't doing the shows. I will admit that. Unfortunately, and you know what? No, that man. So let's keep talking about Comic Con because I had a great time at Comic Con.
Me too.
Look, there's a lot of games that we're looking forward to, and we'll probably touch on those in a little bit. But I want to keep talking about Comic Con experiences.
All
Weirdest thing that you saw at Comic Con this
oh
year?
my god.
There were some larger cosplayers to your Power Girl that I thought were very brave. Some much older Slave Leias that I did enjoy. I enjoyed the Batmobiles. Did
Yeah,
you see
those
all
were
of
great.
them?
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
see
They had
any
like
Batmobiles.
Batmobiles over the years.
Yeah, they had them parked outside of the
Hilton.
outside of the Hilton. And what was neat about that too is they were also there was a screen behind the Batmobiles where they were showing movies like 24 hours a day. And I was stumbling home, exhausted from working all day, and Beetlejuice was starting, and so I literally sat like on the lawn at the Hilton next to the tumbler and watched Beetlejuice, and it was like the
Nice.
greatest moment of my little nerd life. I think was that moment right there. But the cosplayers were. Did anybody see Chris Gore
No.
as Slave Leia?
No way.
No.
Gore
Pictures.
went as Slave Leia.
That's awesome.
We're gonna take a pause in talking so that you guys can find a picture of that to put up right now. Right? How ridiculously nasty was that?
She's been working out though, and I appreciate that dedication.
Yeah,
Well, to fit into
I
that,
don't,
you
Chris.
have to.
I don't appreciate it, and but I love that dude so much because he will do absolutely anything. But Gore as a Slave Leia is the greatest and the worst Slave Leia that Comic Con has ever seen.
I
A
saw
lot
a
of
picture
costumes are drag.
of a guy as Ursula from Little Mermaid.
Saw her, him,
Wow.
it.
Was
Stunning.
he
Stunning.
that big, or did he have a lot of prosthetics?
Yes.
There's no padding. That was all.
It's all for
That was
reals.
all him.
Oh wow!
But there were also, attachments
Yeah.
and makeup and glitter.
Half makeup though. It wasn't like part
That's
of his
the thing.
face.
Like,
was-
if you're a
It
big
was like
fat
drag
guy,
queen makeup.
like if you're a big
Yeah.
fat guy and you
The possibilities
wanna,
are endless,
and you,
really,
yeah, and
for
you
you
want
at
people
Comic-Con.
to like think you're super awesome. just have no shame about it. Just go and dress like Slave Leia because, like,
Yeah.
it's Comic-Con, man. No, it's all
I
good.
agree. That's like I feel like
People won't think that guy's ridiculous. They'll think that guy's
yeah,
awesome.
fat anything is funny. Fat Flash, Fat Superman, Fat Batman,
Spider-Man?
Fat Spider-Man.
Unbelievable.
Fat Batman rhymes, so it's even funnier.
Fat man.
Fat Man is good.
Mike Delonzo and I were having a contest to see if there were more Jokers at Comic-Con or more Rascal Scooters. The Jokers won
mutually
out by a
exclusive?
little bit, but we saw a lot of Rascals and a lot of Jokers.
Yeah.
So
And not to take away, I'm sure there were a lot of people there with actual injuries and disabilities, but the majority of people riding Rascals just needed to start exercising.
There were
Can we
some
all
big
agree
people on
that I'm
Rascals.
sure there were some legitimate injuries there, but there was one dude who I saw rascal, not joking, rascal up to like a funnel cake line. That's what we're calling it from now on, by the way, rascal up. He rascaled up to a funnel cake line, kicked it in line, rolled up to funnel cake to the front, and then stood up, walked up on his own 2 feet, paid for the funnel cake, got the funnel cake, plopped back down, and then rascaled off.
dude, that
Did he
guy.
put the funnel cake on him while he ran away? Because
it was just the most
But
ridiculous.
didn't you want a Rascal when
abuse
you were
of
there?
power.
I said you should cover it next year. All Rascals.
Because I wanted one. I was sitting there going.
We tried to get Segways. We
Yeah.
legitimately looked into renting Segways.
I want a
So I'm saying
rascal
Rascal
now.
next year.
Rascal.
Yeah,
Rascal it up.
yeah.
Then you get to cut in line too.
Four Rascals.
can.
You can't wait in Hall H to the Rascal. So.
Yeah.
They'll put you right in the front
Yeah.
of the line. With the
They
Rascal.
will. Same thing at Disney if you guys are into that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Faking an
better
injury.
than David Lindelof.
It really is. Rascal Scooters greater than Damon Lindelof at Comic-Con. And what about anybody that you met there that you were particularly excited to
I met
meet?
Theon.
I saw your pictures.
I wish that I was more coherent, so I
Yeah.
could have been like, "I love you," but instead I was just like, "Oh my god, can I get a picture?" And then like we posed and
All
like,
right. I need you to be really truthful right now.
okay,
I saw the pictures.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I know that you guys were at a party.
yeah,
You were drinking.
I'm 24, so yeah.
Yeah. You trying to bang Theon, didn't you?
Oh well, I'm
Straight up.
saying, if
Like you were like, "Hey Theon, what do I need to do to see your diary?"
I would pay the iron price.
You would pay the iron
Yeah.
price. Did you hit on did you say anything at all that would indicate to him like, "Oh, this could happen"?
No, but I regret doing that. I regret not hitting on him.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like I had a chance.
You do think you would have
It
had
was
a chance?
like 2 in.
I saw his
Everyone has
picture
a
and like
chance at 2 in the
he had like a
morning.
t-shirt that was like kind of torn and sideways. He was covered in sweat. Like that to me, roles reversed, target of opportunity. I see a girl like that in the corner when I'm single. I'm like, well, guess what,
I was just not mentally in the right place.
dude?
Yeah.
You could have had your moment though.
No, I think we'll have a chance again, Alfie and I.
Really?
Yeah, we're on a first name basis.
Okay. All right.
In that I Wikipedia'd him and found out his real name.
I'm pulling.
So
Did you call him Theon the entire time?
I may have. I also tried to stalk Rob Stark at that party,
Uh-huh.
but I couldn't find him.
Really?
I found him for a little bit, but then I had to go find my friends so they could take pictures together.
Well, it's okay because if
Yeah.
you guys would have got married, you know how that would end
We
up.
all know.
Spoilers. Book spoilers. But anyway, not a good thing
Yeah.
to marry Rob Stark.
Yeah.
So you're totally okay. Well, that's kind of unfortunate, Nicole.
Yeah.
I see.
Missed
Like that could have
opportunity.
been a great opportunity. Like you could just quit work.
It would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're really disappointed. Steve, anybody that you
I didn't
could have had
meet
sex
anybody.
with and you didn't?
No, I didn't meet anybody. I helped a lady get her wallet back.
That's right, a real life superhero.
Yeah,
Really?
I was
There it
actually a
is.
superhero.
Yep.
That's really nice of
Lady
you.
left her
Incredible.
wallet in a cab. I found it. I tracked her down through her credit card company and got her wallet back so she could return to Illinois and get on a plane. She was very worried about how she would have gotten on that plane.
Wow. Did
Oh,
she give you
man,
like a
that's
treat or
your-
something?
Oh, man.
That's your.
She offered me a
superhero.
reward, but I turned it down because I was like, "Come on, it's Comic-Con.
It's Comic-Con.
You know?
I'm here to say you could have said I am your credit card's reckoning. Like you could have turned it the other way.
Also, we were having dinner at this relatively nice restaurant, and we were sitting there, all the G4 people. So I love the commiserating.
And I used her
about-
credit card to pay.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly, of course. And a man walked in, and he was a homeless man, and he started talking about how he was yelling to the entire restaurant that he needed $18.06 because he had a lithium prescription that he could not fill. And then he said this, he said, "I'm not going to hurt anybody." And man, that is not
That's the
reassuring.
worst. No, that's the opposite of what
He's
you want to
trying to be
say.
reassuring, but that...
Right.
So when you lead with,
When you
I need
scream
money
it.
for lithium.
Right.
I mean,
Scream
I was
that.
going to say,
It's
just put
not.
it on your corporate card,
Right.
man.
We all have problems. Our appetizers aren't even here
I
yet.
really put everything into perspective. I was like,
Wow.
wow.
I feel like lithium is the Quaalude of Comic-Con. Like lithium is a thing too? Is that still a
It's
thing?
crazy because he's delivering this impassioned and angry speech to an entire
As he
restaurant.
puts on black gloves.
And behind him is
Snap.
behind him in the windows you can just see like crowds of people dressed like different superheroes walk by, and I was like, this is the weirdest thing.
Did Mike give him his $18?
And
Really?
6
I
cents?
was giving money, and he left, which, we were kind of looking for the other exits. We're like, this gets really ugly. We're going to head that way.
Right.
But, yeah, people gave him his money.
Interesting. Okay.
Comic-Con, man.
All right. I had a weird moment with a celebrity. Actually, I got a lot further with the celebrity than you did. I was waiting. My buddy is on this show Grimm on NBC, and so I went to the panel, and I went to the bathroom behind the panel, like one of the, this is where all the talent people are going, to the bathroom that I snuck into. And it was me and Jax Teller from Sons of Anarchy, right? Charlie Hunnam, who's also apparently in Pacific Rim. And we're standing at stalls, and it's Jax Teller, man. I love that show, right? And I totally was like, I got to look at this dude's penis. Like, I have to see what Jax...
Barricade or no barricade?
No barricade.
Oh,
and so it's just me and him, and his security guard is right there, and we're peeing, and I'm like this, and he looks over at me, and I could feel him like look over at me as I'm like eyeballing, and I look over at him, and he's like, and I go, like I gave him the "what do you expect" look, and his answer should have been, "I expect dudes to not look at my dick in a public urinal," but I was literally just like, yeah. And also Jax Teller's. Just so good for you for being successful and handsome and possessed of a very large wing, sir. Well done. So that's my Comic-Con celebrity moment where I saw the dude from Undeclared's penis, and that was pretty rad. So that was fun. Let's take a quick moment before we wrap this show to talk about the video games that we're looking forward to. We've been in a dry spell. All joking aside, we've been in a dry spell over the last couple months. Lego Batman 2, Spec Ops: The Line. There really haven't been that many large games that have come out. Dawn Guard I consider to be probably the biggest game that's come out in the last couple months, and wasn't even a full game. But there's some really great stuff coming out. Darksiders 2 for me personally. I really enjoyed the first Darksiders, and I'm looking forward to the second one. That's coming out, I think, on August 14th or 12th. It's coming out in the next couple of
Same
August
day
14th.
as Sleeping Dogs.
Okay. So what are you looking forward to here in August and September, where things are, I know September is probably going to be Borderlands for you, but in August, there's a lot of good stuff coming out in
There's
August.
surprisingly a lot of games in August. I'm actually excited to give Guild Wars 2 a chance. Gonna try and let myself forget friendships, forget my social life, hygiene, and just kind of go MMO for a while.
Right.
Haven't done that since SWTOR. And I played it at Comic-Con. I'm looking forward to the Transformers game.
Okay.
Yeah, they played the 1986 Transformers soundtrack, and Rush was on there, so I was like,
Sold.
good people.
I'm into it.
I'm gonna buy this game.
All right.
That's all it takes for me, really.
All right. Okay. High Moon's they're also doing the Deadpool game too, which is pretty exciting as well.
That was actually a big surprise from Comic-Con. And then they had the Deadpool cosplayer just like with people like the whole Comic-Con. He was just coming up. He was photobombing and he was like jumping on people, and he was a pretty nice guy.
Yeah. Yeah, we have TQ Jefferson on X-Play today, actually, who's the VP, I think, of games production at Marvel. So we had him on the show, and I interviewed him and talked to him about the Deadpool game, and they're all really excited about that. And High Moon makes great games, so I think it'll be pretty awesome. Steve, what about you?
I'm actually looking forward to the new Super Mario Brothers 2.
Are you?
I played it at Comic-Con and was really impressed. I mean, it plays just like every other, Super Mario game.
Right, but that's okay, man. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Like, I don't... More levels for Super Mario? All right, I'm on board.
Right.
So that's really, of the list of things here, that's what I'm looking forward to most.
Okay, cool. And Jake, I actually, every time I walk by your desk, you are playing something new.
I know.
So what have you been playing lately that's coming out in the next couple of weeks that you're really excited about?
All day at work, who's that place games?
It's absurd, really. It's offensive, too. We've been playing Sleeping Dogs a lot because we got a build a little while ago. And it's pretty fun, actually.
Interesting.
It's true crime, so if you're familiar with that series, I mean, it's the reboot of that. But
Right.
a lot of hand-to-hand combat, a lot of like picking dudes up and spiking them and putting their faces into air conditioners and breaking bones, and then driving around the city, obviously GTA style. Jumping on cars, jumping between cars,
Is it like Rush Hour
jumping
2?
out of the car and then shooting it in slow motion as it explodes
Yeah, it's pretty
into
awesome.
a crowd.
How's the writing in the game? Because they aired like a trailer of it during Breaking Bad this week, and this was a line. The guy goes, "You can't do that stuff, Tommy," or whatever, and Tommy goes, "You can't do it because you're a cop. I'm an undercover cop." And I was like, "This is going to be the worst game of all time. Is the writing better than what they decided to showcase on arguably the biggest cable show on television right now?
For what we've seen, a little bit better than that.
Okay.
But still,
Good voice
in
acting,
that,
though.
right?
They
Yeah,
announced
have
Emma Stone,
Stone.
other people that I recognize.
lots of people that you know that are good.
Emma Stone's
Tom
the cutest,
Wilkinson is in it, I
so-
think, who's big. Yeah,
Lucy
they
Liu?
have the talent. Yeah,
Lucy
Liu's
Liu.
in there.
Okay.
Yeah, she's cute.
So yeah, but I think they're not shying away from the sort of playing it up, hamming it up a little bit.
All
because
right.
it is. It does
Cheesy
open.
undercover
There's
cop
a
line.
there's a scene in the beginning where a guy just gets a hatchet in the face, where they could just like run and that would be the end of it. The guy's like, well, I could leave. Well. and then
They do
go.
this first.
Might
They
as
take care of
well
this.
hatchet to the face. So.
All
well, I
right.
got a hatchet,
Yeah,
so
exactly. What am I going to do? Not use it? But yeah.
So
Not
video
this
games are
economy.
supposed to be a little bit cheesy, like
A little bit.
Yeah, this is just like it was just an odd thing to sell that's an odd line to try to sell the game to people who maybe aren't familiar with the game.
Now
or
you know what
like,
it's
Undercover
about.
cop.
ooh, that means he can do anything he wants. He's the Mel Gibson to the other guy's Dan Glover.
Where you're walking around, you do bad things or good things because you're undercover.
You're a cop and you're working for the triads. It's complicated.
Well,
They were pitching it. They're
Blowing
pitching
my
it. The whole thing is that it's a serious game, even though it's an open world thing, and that it's a serious story. But as soon as I got my hands on the demo, the first thing I did was walk out on the street and just start beating.
Before that, I went to my apartment, stripped down, tidy whities, ran outside, and then that was just running around, jumping between motorcycles in my underwear. Very serious stuff.
Yeah.
They can't make me be serious.
That's the problem.
I'm just keeping that image
Yeah.
for as long as I can, Jake.
Oh yeah.
Just make
Me
it till I
too.
get home. Just make it till I get home. Make it till I get home.
I understand if you can. It's fine.
Just send me a picture later if you don't mind. And I'm really looking forward to. I see it on the list here. Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition. I don't know why you had to make the game harder. I'm assuming Prepare to Die means it's going to be harder. I'll play it again.
PC.
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Right? That's probably one of my favorite games of all time. So if you don't have that game for whatever reason, and you have a PC, pick up that game because it's going to be pretty sweet, I think. And a ton of great stuff, obviously, but we spent most of our time reminiscing about ridiculous Comic-Con stuff. So I just want to say a couple things before we finish up the show. The first thing I want to do is this show, obviously, we've been on this for a while together, like we are now, but before us was Adam Sessler, Patrick Klepek, Abby Heppy, Billy Berghammer before them, Emily Gordon. Thank you to everybody that's ever been a part of this show. I know for me personally, it was one of the easiest things I've ever had to take over because the show was so great. When I took over the show, we didn't have to change anything because it was already so awesome. So thank you to all of those people before me. Nicole, you've been a phenomenal producer. I've been in TV for a long time, and the fact that you have another job and you're able to put this show together every week says a lot about how great you are. And I know we make fun of your age, but you are so much further along than most people at your age in any profession. So thank you, and congratulations for everything you've done. Steve, you're Steve, man, and that's good. But you've always been... it's been great to have your perspective on the show as well. I think that a lot of times as much as we hate the journalists who are really cynical about video games, I know we get caught up in our own opinions a lot, but you are truly one of the only people that I know that still plays games just because you really like to play games. So that's been awesome to have you on as well. And Jake, you have been like the actual information of the show. Anytime anybody watches these shows expecting to learn something, they should not watch if you're not on that episode because we truly don't get anything done, I think, when you're not around. So thank you as well for all the work you do on the website. Neil and Frank, I mean, what can I say about you guys? You know, you've only got one angle to cover, but you cover them quite well. And all the work that you guys put in, I know that you guys see the episode every week and you think that it comes together like that, but these two dudes do a lot of work to get everything together. So thank you to everybody that's always been a part of it. Like I said, it's not going to go away. We are going to do something different. So my question to you guys is, what do you want to see in the next feedback? I know that a lot of people had a problem with the fact that, we were no longer an hour and 15 minutes. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people way smarter than us that measure these types of things. And the shorter episodes do tend to work a little better. And then from a marketing perspective, they're definitely a better thing to sell. So what would you like to see in a half-hour feedback? I know that you don't like it, but if you're stuck with it, what do you want it to be? So please send us your ideas. Nicole, I'm sure we'll set up some sort of blog post
Sure, yeah.
where you guys can let us know what you want moving forward, because we do want to make something that you guys love. We're really proud of this, but we want to make something that we can all kind of grow together. So send us your ideas and your questions, and of course, you're going to send your criticism, which we will read as well. And thank you guys so much for watching and for letting me be a part of this. Thank you guys for working with me and letting me take over something and supporting me, because I took over, from some pretty big shoes, and I really appreciate you guys sticking by the show. So that's it, I think, for this iteration of feedback. Thank you for letting me ramble a little bit there at the end. But we really appreciate everybody watching. New episodes will eventually go up every
This fall.
Wednesday at g4tv.com/feedback. We will be back this fall, but send us your suggestions because we want to make the show that you want to watch. Thanks a lot.